And you guys should get a little notification. Is everybody seeing it?
Got it.
All right. And why is it not? I don't know why it's not. You guys can see me, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, perfect. All right, so we're going to jump in. I'm going to share my screen. And we are looking inside of GoHighLevel / Funnel Gorgeous / Master Marketing Suite. It's all the same platform. It just has different labels on the top. And we are inside of Melissa's account. The reason that I wanted to do this session was there's two parts. There's the building part. So a lot of times people will buy templates or they'll have templates connected with their account. But once you have that template, what do you do with it? So the mission for today is just to walk through some of the editing and steps that I go through. Now I've got a spreadsheet here, so let me make a copy of the share link and I will drop this in the comments so you guys can grab this sheet and you'll just be prompted to make a copy of it. And the beautiful thing about this sheet just kind of walks through the order of how I like to do things. And at the bottom, there's 3 tabs. There's the landing page checklist. Then the second page is what I call the SEO details. And this is going to make more sense in a minute when we talk about it. And then the third tab, funnel page URLs. So what I like to do is just the pages that I like give out to people. So if I want somebody to hop on or I want to share like a landing page for them to opt into something, I will put the URL on this page. So instead of having 50 links, maybe I only have 3 or 4. But again, as we go through this is going to make more sense. So the first item here on the spreadsheet is open the SEO details sheet, which is this sheet right here. All right. And let me make this a little bigger. Maybe, is that too big? Can everybody see it? Okay. So the first thing that I talk about is funnel acronyms. So whenever I'm building out a campaign, or even if I have something new that I'm offering, whether it's a landing page or something to purchase, I always come up with an acronym. And then every page, every asset, everything connected, I use that same acronym. So for instance, my Digital Business Academy, the acronym is DBA. That's pretty self-explanatory. But as I start building out different things like my landing page or the thank you page or maybe the actual product, I'll use that same acronym and it just will make your life so much easier because, and I know Melissa, you have several properties, and on the properties, you could either use the full name or you could use the come up with an acronym, but then you don't even have to think moving forward. So what do I mean by that? On our pages, under what we call the SEO, we have page title, description, keywords, and all of that kind of stuff. And I like to streamline my work. So if I type something more than once, I put it on this sheet so I don't have to keep duplicating the efforts. So let's go back over to the page and this will make more sense. And Melissa, you have a folder, active landing pages. I'm guessing that this is what was set up by the other agency that you had
Right.
been
Right.
connected. So I'm just going to use Bluebird as our example. And when we get into, or even if we're creating a funnel is just, it can be one page, it can be multiple pages. They don't necessarily have to connect to each other, but just think of it like a folder or a connection that they're all grouped together. So up here at the top, this is where we can kind of have a bird's eye view of what's happening. If you had a sales page or if this was a live page, by clicking on the stats, you can see how many unique views that you have. This is not a sales page. It's actually directing people to a booking page. But if you had like a checkout page, it would show you how many people have purchased that and so forth. Okay. So the main thing I want to point to, though, is the settings tab. And the name here, that's the name of this funnel. And then over here to the right, the domain. And Melissa, I know you'd said that the stylishstays.11digital.llc, we're not changing that because this particular page is working for you. But if you did ever want to change the domain, I had set up the subdomain for you called go.stylish.com. Okay.
So I probably do need to change that because that was the 11 Digital is the other marketing agency,
Okay.
right?
Yes. Yes. I didn't want to make any changes to this
Okay.
until you were good with it.
Okay.
Yep. And then the path, now keep in mind, we're still up here kind of at the very top level. So the path is like in a traditional web page or a traditional funnel. If you wanted people just to short and sweet, they just go to that particular website, then the path name, what you have here, is what takes them there. A lot of times I will, because I don't know how things are set up in the back end. So if we change this to go, it would be to the other one, it would be go.stylishstays.com/C Haven, or you could just say C. But I thought this was the Bluebird. Is that right? I'm not
Yeah,
familiar.
this would be the Bluebird. This would be a totally different property. So
Gotcha.
I don't
Okay.
know,
Okay. So I'm just gonna change this initial path to blue. This path doesn't really do anything unless you tell it to. All right. So we're not going to worry about it too much. And then I'm just going to save it. So when you set up the domain, this is one of those things you just do it once, and most of the time you're good to go. Then on the funnel steps here, so you only have one page on this one, which is fine. Over here in the middle, when you click the little gear, that's how we can change the step names or the page names. So if you were actually selling something, you might have like a freebie landing page, and then the next page is like the main sales page. Then the next page might be the checkout page, then the thank you page. Whatever the step name is, it's only for your information. So I just name it whatever makes sense to me. Okay. So we're just going to leave it at home for right now. Doesn't really matter. And then the step URL, this is what's going on the back end of whatever domain. So Bluebird-booking, or you could just call it Bluebird if you want, doesn't matter. Okay. We didn't change anything, but I have to click the update step. So we've done the settings. Basically, you just do the settings to connect to the domain. We click the little gear if we wanted to change the back end of this. Let me give you a little tip. Sometimes they'll get all these weird numbers after. The reason you get these random numbers is you can only have one unique page name throughout your system. So if there was another Bluebird booking someplace, and we tried to name this Bluebird booking, then it would add some numbers to the back end. If that ever happens, I tell people then use your little acronym that we talked about in front of it with a dash. Just do something to make it a little different. Okay. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
All right. Let me mention one other thing. If you are ever wanting to like modify an existing page, the first thing that I suggest, and in fact, I'm going to put it over here on this checklist. I am going to put it right here. Clone if working on a live page. Okay. Because Murphy's Law is if you get in here and you mess it up and you haven't cloned it, when you clone it, you're good to go. So to clone just means to make a copy. I'm not going to, but down here at the bottom right where it says clone funnel step, when I click that, you would just click the button clone step in this funnel. Now, occasionally I will clone a page because it's easier to kind of start from that. So let's say this was the traditional sales page. You were selling something, and then I wanted to create a product page. I might clone this page so that the top stuff I wouldn't have to change, and then I could just delete it. All right. But I'm not going to do that. Just wanted to show you what it was. Then I'm just going to click the edit button. And it's loading kind of slowly. Here is the page, and I'm going to talk about it in just a minute. Let me say this: when you go in behind other people, sometimes you just have to kind of look around to see how they've done things. All right. Going back here to our little checklist, we've opened the SEO. We've decided on the acronym. We've connected the domain. I didn't talk about the favicon. I'll come back to that. I didn't need to clone it. Then the step page names, those are fine. I'm going to leave that. Now, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the CEO tab. I'm just going to say top menu of platform, I guess. Okay. So what do I mean by that? So we're looking at this page, and up here along the top, if you just scroll over, you're going to see something that's called SEO metadata. Now, there's a reason why I do things in this order, because a lot of times we start with a template and we forget to change the SEO stuff. So that template may have somebody else's information on it. So I always like to start with the SEO metadata. And all of the information here, if I click down here on content, so this is just a preview. And is this the oceanfront condo, Phoenix West?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm just going to copy that title. I'm going to come back over to my landing page here where it says SEO details. I'm going to just put it in. I'm going to paste this in. I'll remind me to get rid of it later so I don't mess this up for you guys. If you have more than one page that you're building, what I would do is I would change the name of this sheet. I would call it SEO for Bluebird. Then the next time you can right click and you can duplicate this whole sheet. But then this becomes like our our little document and we have everything in one place. All right, so I'm just going to put that there. And then I'm going to come back here. So that's the title. It likes it to be under 70 characters for search. I don't know if that really matters. I do like though that you've got most of the details. So I think that's fine. Then on the description, and you can open and kind of move these little windows around. In the description, I'm just going to copy all of this. And I'm going to put it here on the description. Okay. And again, let me wrap this. Sometimes, based on what it is, sometimes your description maybe is similar based on the pages you're building out. Sometimes they're completely different. All right. But if you had more than one page in this funnel, so again, let's say that you're selling a product, the description on the freebie page and the description, basically think of the description again as your SEO that you're explaining your product and your service. So a lot of times I keep reusing that. So I just copy it there. Okay. Then when we come down to keywords, and another hint for you, if you use Chat GPT, I will go on Chat GPT and say, hey, I need a 150 character page title or 150 word page description for my vacation, blah, blah, blah. Or even for the keywords, I will ask Chat GPT to give me the keywords also. Okay. So again, we're just filling this out. On the author, and Melissa, because this is shown to other people, do you want your name or do you have a company name?
You can either do stylish stay or, yeah.
Okay. All right. So we'll just do that. Now, again, because I'm lazy, to paste it or to type it, it's probably, 50-50, but I go ahead and put it in there. Then I never have to think again, what am I going to put as the author? Then the social image, this is the image that shows up here. So if you shared this page, this URL, like in a Facebook group, this is the social image that shows up. And you can change that or you can just leave it. So I am going to just copy that link again, because I'm lazy here. I'm just going to paste it in. So then I've got it. All right. Is that making sense? All right. And then the rest of the stuff you don't really need to worry about. So now I'm just going to click on update SEO data. So again, going back to our checklist, the reason I like to do the SEO first is because usually we forget. And especially if you're using somebody's template, you want to make sure that it's reflecting your property. Then the next thing is I always like to check the footer, the terms of services, the privacy policy, any links that you have. So again, we're going to come back here to your page, and I'm going to come all the way down. And here is your footer. And it's just copyright 2024, stylish stays, all rights reserved. Melissa, your business is a little different, but if you do have any kind of privacy policies, terms of services, anything like that, you could add it to the footer here. Okay. The other thing that I like to do, this footer, you probably can't Sometimes my screen is a little wacky. I am going to, let me say this, if you're new to using this builder, when you click on and you see the green, the builder is made up of pages, then sections, then rows. Then within the rows, you can have columns. Then within the columns, you can have elements. So the green means section. And I am going to, just because it's hard to see, on this very bottom section, I'm moving it up just for a minute, and I'll change it back in a second. And I'm also going to change the background color just for a minute, just so that you can see what I'm doing. So I just moved the section up for a minute. When you hover over that section, there is a little like save floppy disk. I am going to click on that, and I am going to save this section. You can use these sections on any page, any funnel page or web page that you develop. So I always like to save it. You can also, if you had multiple pages in this funnel, you could create what we call a global section, meaning if you changed it on one page, it would change it on all of them. But in this instance, and I like to use the initials of the person. So we're just going to say stylish stays dash footer. And I like to put it all in caps because then it's easier to find it. So we're saving this section, and then where it says add to, what do I want to add it to? I want to add it to a template. And excuse me, the reason I'm doing that is a template I can use any place. I can use on the web pages. I can use on new. If it was global, I could only use it in this funnel. So I'm just going to save that. And now I'm just going to change the color back. I just wanted to show you how I did that. Any questions on that? And now I'm just going to move this back down to the bottom. So now if you decided you wanted to add other links here, you could do that and then resave it. Then you could use it on your others.
Debbie, quick, can you use that as a footer on emails too? I mean, as a section on email builder, or just landing page builder?
No,
Okay.
unfortunately, the email builder is a little different.
Okay, thanks.
So we're going to mark that up. Now, the next thing on our list is add brand colors. If this was a, and Melissa, what did you say your brand colors are? Are they the same for all your properties?
They're a little bit different for property, but then we have an overall brand. So
Okay. What I like to do is you could put it on the SEO tab, or you could create a new tab, and you could just put your brand colors if you wanted. So what are like the top 2 or 3 colors that you have?
well, it's this one, it would be like a dark blue, which
Oh.
I'd have to look up the.
Okay. Okay. Actually, let me do this. Do you know, can you find one of the hex codes for me?
Debbie, oh, you're doing that. So you could also probably put a link to your Canva brand kit if you had such a thing, right?
You could. I like having it on the spreadsheet, so it's
Okay.
one less place that I have
Gotcha.
to go, and then I can just copy and paste.
Yes, like I had that issue with my hex colors the other day.
Yes, yeah.
Perfect. Okay.
So this would be 0D3054.
Okay, perfect. So I'm just going to grab that color, and I'm going to come back over here. On this page, I don't know if this blue is on here or not. So over to the right where it says didn't find your color, add a custom one. And I'm just going to paste that value in and add color. I'm thinking it might have already been there, although sometimes it tells me that it's already there. Okay. So there it is. We're hoping that in the future, because right now, here's the drag. The brand colors do not magically float to the next page. So if this funnel, if I had 5 pages in this funnel, I would have to get the brand color for every single page. Or if I had something, if I had a section that had some of my brand colors, I could save that section. Because remember, if you click on the green, you could save. Sometimes it's hard to grab it. You could save the section and I might call it, section with brand colors or something, whatever. All right. Does that make sense? But by having it on the spreadsheet, then I would just go through and add your different brand colors here. All right. Does that make
Can
sense?
you just back up 1 second?
Yep.
How did we get to this page where you're editing the landing page? Sorry.
No, good question. I'm going to save this.
Yeah.
And let me say this is kind of a pain in the rump here. When I click on save, this little SEO metadata pops up. It's a little bug in the system. So I have to say, I've already saved it once, but I'm going to say update the SEO. Then I have to come back up here to the top again, click save again. I'm going to publish this, not that it really matters. I'm going to get all the way out, and then I'm going to go all the way back in. Okay, so over here on the left, under
all the sites.
sites, and then yours is under active landing pages. And then I just double clicked on Bluebird.
Okay.
And
then
now from here, again, if you had multiple pages, you would just click on whatever page. And then down here, kind of in the middle, we're going to edit it.
edit it. Okay,
Yep.
that's where I was missing was the edit.
Perfect. Nope.
And Debbie, just show her the options. You can edit right there or edit in a new tab.
Well, I don't think that's a good practice.
Okay, well, that's me then, because
Yeah.
I like to edit the tab. Why is it not a good practice?
So here's the deal. And what Kathy is talking about is, so we've opened this up and we're making changes. And maybe we need to go do something else. And then we click a new tab. If we are working on the same page, guess what? Sometimes things get overwritten. So I don't like to work out of multiple tabs. Even though it's one extra step, I come back here.
Makes sense.
Okay, so let's go back to our checklist now. And we've talked about adding branding colors, about creating and saving global and template sections. Create your images. Now, Melissa, you already have your images. It's a lot easier if we either get our images, or if we're creating things on Canva, if we do them all at once, then we can upload them all at once. But, that doesn't always work. Okay. So let's talk about changing an image. So this image here, this image is actually in a little image slider. So if I look over here to the right, these are the different images here. Okay, this probably isn't the best example. Let me find just a regular one so I don't confuse people. So here, beautiful picture here. When I click on this picture over here to the right, this is the image link. So I'm going to click on that little icon there. And this is where we can upload all of our images. So it's always a good idea, especially if you have multiple properties or multiple offers, to create a folder just for those images, because then it makes it a lot easier. So here, Melissa, you do have a folder called Updated Photos, the Bluebird. Okay. So if I had some new ones, I would open this folder up. And then I would click this top blue button, New Upload. And then I could select multiple pictures and I could upload them all at once. Okay.
Okay.
Does that make
Yep.
sense?
Yep.
Now let me show you something else too. So here's your little Bluebird logo. This is something that you might use several times. And so if I click on the three dots, I'm going to get the link. I make this spreadsheet work overtime for myself. Okay. So again, on the SEO details, you could put it here or you could create a new tab. You're going to find that there's photos that you use a lot. Okay. I probably would do this on a new tab because on that, in fact, let me just do it here. So I'm just going to say photo name and then the link. Okay. So we're going to call this the Bluebird logo. And I'm going to paste in that link. And again, why do I even bother doing this? Because you're going to find that there's certain things that you use over and over again. And if you put them on this spreadsheet, you can just copy this link instead of coming inside of your media folders and searching. Just depends. Okay. I'm just going to close out of this. And if I had that link, so if I wanted to change this picture and I had the link, I could just double click right here over to the right and paste that link in. So I wouldn't have to go find it. Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that's how you change your images. That's how you upload them. Let me say one other thing here. Depending on where you came from or what templates you're using, you might have folders called relocated items. And sometimes, and I don't know if these are your images or somebody else, when you have templates, a lot of times there's some images like stock photo type images that are there. So you can just ignore them. I mean, it doesn't really hurt anything. But if you're ever trying to find something, you could look under the relocated items. All right.
Can I ask a quick question
Yeah.
though? Because I was with a different agency. Are their photos going to be on those or is that separate?
You might find under these relocated items, like that one didn't have anything. Again, I don't know. Maybe
Okay.
all of these are yours, but these
Yeah.
these are like stock photos, it looks like.
Okay.
So it doesn't hurt anything just for them to sit there.
Okay.
If you're really bored and you want to delete some of them, you can do that also.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So let me just come back here to our checklist. Let me say this about images. Here's a site, and I have a link for you. It's called Opt-in Monster to optimize your images. And then here's an article link that you can go to learn about it. So what do I mean by that? Your site is very heavy in images, which is great because you're selling B&B, so you need that. If it looks like the load time is slow, then you might want to think about running your images through that optimizer. It's free. It just takes a little extra time. So what you have to do is you have to upload the images. It will shrink the weight of your image. And you could also tell it, look, I want this image to be 1080 by 1080. So it can do both of those things. If you decide to do that, what I've done is like my headshots and stuff. I had my VA put all my headshots up there, and then we optimized them. And so the name of those pictures, we put OPT at the end. Okay. So again, as you're messing around with your pictures, if you feel like your page is heavy, in other words, when you go to it, does it load very slowly? Then you might want to think about optimizing your images. Okay. Any questions on that? Okay, then I already talked about it's a lot easier to upload all your images at once. And we'll talk about the mobile optimization here in just a minute and testing the views. Okay, so now let me just come back here. Let me talk about, and again, sometimes it's hard to get, it's hard to get the little green. So here is, not for sure what this section is. Just
No, that's my other property that they have in there. So there, there you go. That's how messed up it was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So this section name is, I'm just going to call it, I'm going to call it property details section. As you're building or editing, you don't have to name all of your sections. So here I'm on this section, and notice it just says section. Okay, this one I named it to property details section. The reason that I like to name some of my sections, a couple different reasons. Like later, if like I know I need to come back and change this, it's easy once I've named it to find it. If we come up to the top left, there's something called layers. And this is fairly new with GoHighLevel. So under the page, if we open that up, here's all of the different sections. And now notice this one that I just named, property details. So it makes it super easy. It's like, yes, this is the one that I want. And if I click on it, it takes me right there because I can see the green. All right. So again, you don't have to go through and name all of your sections, but some of them you might. All right. Then my motto in life, save early, save often. And again, we have to hit the updated SEO, then we have to save it again. Trust me. I come from an IT background and I speak from experience when your computer crashes. So just try to remember as you're working to save often. Another little tip is this little eyeball up here next to the save. That's the preview. Now and then I like to click the preview. It kind of, it just seems to set the server, okay? So if I'm in preview mode, if we look up here at the top, the URL is not the final URL, but it kind of like gives it that final save. So as I'm working, occasionally, I save a lot and occasionally I will do a preview.
Can you go, was that section that came up, that was on the first page or is it the top of the page?
This one
No.
here?
No, the one that just showed in the preview?
If I click the eyeball,
right?
Or are you talking about the, let me do it
The
again.
orange, go back up to that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, right there.
So-
Wait, because there's a typo.
What?
I'm sorry. There's a word that doesn't need to be there. Looking for a memorable and relaxing vacation to the Orange Beach? Or just Orange Beach?
Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
I'll adjust that. Yep.
Okay.
I didn't know where we could just knock it out.
Okay. So now, whoops, what section was I on? Okay,
Right there.
so this section, when I can tell just because it's so close to the edge, but if we're looking at it, if we come down, see how it's like running off the page here?
Mhm.
So I'm going to show you how you can modify that. Okay.
Ooh, that's a great picture of those beach chairs.
Yeah.
Melissa.
So again, we go from pages to sections to rows to columns to elements. So green means section, blue means row, purple means column. Okay, so this is, and I mean, I could have told you that by looking at it. This is a 2-column row. All right. And then inside you have different elements. So you have the paragraph, subheading, you have a button, you have an image. So those are all the elements that make it. So if you need to make some like formatting changes, you want to make sure that you're on the right thing to make the changes. Okay. So what I want is I could modify the whole row if I wanted. And what that would do is it would just kind of shrink things in a little bit because I have this highlighted. If I come over here to the right, down here, it's showing that the width is 100%. If I shrink it in just a little bit,
Mhm.
I'm going to save it. And then we'll do a quick preview. And so now that looks a little better.
So you went to what color were you at when you did that with? You were in the
The blue.
Okay.
And again, you can tell you're on the right place because see how the blue is capturing both of those columns?
Right. Yeah. So it's capturing that whole section, right?
Yes. So when I change the width, it's decreasing on both sides. Okay. Now, what I also could do is if I hover over and now I'm on the purple, and the purple is that first column,
Mm-hmm.
I could just adjust that column if I wanted instead of the whole row. There's no right or wrong. You just have to decide.
So
So
if you wanted to change that column, let's just, I don't want to change it, but I want to know how to do this. So
to
if you
change the width,
say, if you wanted to change the width of just that Sea Haven, guest, whatever, not the pictures,
yeah,
how would you go ahead and do that?
yeah. So I've got the purple selected. Then
Mhm.
over here are
Okay.
all
The
of
first
the
column,
adjustments. And if I wanted to be even clearer, I'm just gonna say property left instead of first. I'm gonna just say left column details. And again, when we open up, it's easier to find it. You don't have to name the element. Then it's all of this margin and padding. So and again, just play with it. The kind of the inside square is right now there's 5 pixels from the character to the little edge, and there's 0 pixels on the margin. So if I click on the margin and maybe I'm going to say 10. So did you see how it
that
slid
moved
this
over.
in a little bit?
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So we'll save that. What
Let
else?
me ask one more question.
Yeah.
So I have to change, say this whole column, like where I wanted to do Sea Haven. I have to go into the element then to do that.
Yes. And so
And then
these,
right there, okay, and then I can change just type that, okay.
yep, yep. So this one, let me just go ahead and change this one for you. This is Bluebird, right?
Yeah. Yeah, bird.
Oh, let's try Bluebird. Okay. Is it in Gulf Shores?
It's actually at Orange Beach,
And is it Alabama?
Alabama, yeah.
Alabama. Did I spell it right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, so you're just going in there and just in that column, there's nothing on the right side that I
Yeah.
change. I have to change it. Okay, that's what I wanted to know. Okay.
Yeah, since it's, and again, now you could do other things. So right here where it says guest 16 and older, because I have that element, it's a paragraph, but I have that element selected. If I come over here to the right, I could, where is it? Okay, I lied. They've changed it. So I'm selecting all of it. If I wanted that bold, for instance,
Mm-hmm.
then I would just do that. Okay, does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, you can also, let me click, so I'm back on that. Over here is where you change the font size. So right now it's 17 points, and you can either type in it or you can slide it. And then notice here that little computer picture.
Mm-hmm.
If you do the drop down and then click on mobile, then you could change. Right now, mobile is also 17 point pixels, but you could change it to 12 or something.
Okay.
Okay. This is a fairly new change of what they've done also. So as you're editing it, if there's something like that you don't want to show up on the mobile, you can click it and say don't to hide it. Okay. So up here at the top, let me just save this. Right now, we're looking at the desktop view. If I click on the mobile view, then this is what it looks like in mobile view. Now, let me say this view that we're looking at is not always 100%. So it's always good after you've made your changes to go to your phone and actually check it there. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Okay.
Oh, wait, now can you go back there? Okay, because
Mobile.
wait, no. Okay, yeah, go back to mobile. Okay, so that's a whole different property.
Yep.
So how did they do? So what happened there?
Yes. I'm just looking to see if anything else.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's certain pictures like that
Yep.
back page and everything else. So do
So
I have
here,
to go into the mobile section of each, or if you change the desktop one, does it normally change the? No, you have to go to both.
well, yeah, yes and no. Because
I have a feeling they copied and pasted from one to another, right?
Exactly.
That
Yep.
they didn't change
yeah,
both, right?
yes, yeah.
Yep.
So there's some things. Let me see if I can find. Like I say, it's always hard when I'm following somebody else.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yes, I
Oh,
know.
no.
It's easier to start from scratch, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm looking for. Sometimes, of course, I'm probably not going to be able to find it. When I'm not finding it. What I'm looking for is sometimes you'll have something and you think, you know what, the mobile view, we don't need this on the mobile view. So you can turn it off just by clicking, and I'm not even seeing the picture here. So they might not have something. If I can find it, if I can find one, I'll send you a.
Okay. Yeah, no
picture.
problem. No, I appreciate this
Yeah.
because, yep.
Yeah. So you just unfortunately, and it is something that we've complained to GoHighLevel about. We would like everything. Like if you start with a brand new one, a brand new page, then what shows up on the mobile is going to show up on, or on the desktop on the mobile. And then what you can do is you can click things and you can say, you know what, I don't need this to be shown on mobile, or like the fonts, just like I showed you, the font weight on the mobile should be smaller than on the desktop. But right now it's a little bit of a pain. You just need to double check. And on this one, this has a background video, and it's actually playing. There's some code there. If we looked at this on mobile, and that's why they didn't change it on mobile. Here is the custom code. I'm not a programmer, but I can usually understand what they've done. So if I click that over here, it says open the code editor. This is where it's pulling that video. And is that your video, or is it a video that they had created? Okay.
Yeah, not my video.
Okay. So this source, you know, and a lot of times what I'll do is I will copy this whole code and just put it in like a text editor so that I have it. But this is the actual video name right here. But I don't know where this is at. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, here's a perfect example. So here, this code, this custom code, I've got the element selected. Over here, when I clicked on advanced, see how the mobile is turned off?
Okay.
I don't know if you can see that, because you know, it's too big of a video to run like on the phone. So they've turned that off.
Okay.
Let me see about this one. This one's the same way. So all of this is like white text because it's playing over that video. So when I click on this, under the advanced tab down here, it's turned that off. And so what they've done is they've created a separate section just for, and I'm going to rename this. I'm going to call it mobile section, mobile only section.
Okay.
Then you can find it. Okay. So
Okay.
if we look at, if we look down here on the visibility, we can see that it's only showing up on the mobile and not on the desktop.
Okay.
Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you just have to play around with it. And then, what else is I going to show you? So the same thing here, the more details, I would, so they've just typed all of this in. Let me see if I can, let me just make a quick little change because it's driving me crazy. Let me just add some padding a little bit. Then you can play around with it. I probably would do this differently, and maybe I can give you some ideas inside of the group of how I would lay this out.
Okay. Yeah.
What else? Then when you click on any of your buttons, so I'm going to click on that. Down here, a button can do a couple of different things. It can scroll to an element. So it's scrolling to the headline. I'm not for sure what the, oh, that's odd. So they're calling this section, they're calling it the headline, which that's kind of odd. Let me see.
Is the booking widget already in there somewhere?
Yes. Yep. The booking widget is in there. Okay. So this scrolls to the same thing. We're not going to change it because it's going to be too confusing. But when you create, a button. I'm going to center this right there.
Thank you.
You you can do one of a couple of things. It can take you to an outside page directly. It can take you to another point on your funnel page, or it could take you to like a second page of your funnel. So if this was a sales page and the next page is the checkout page, then I could say go to next step or go to next page. What it's doing down here, which it's fine. I probably would just name this element different. Any of these buttons, book now, will take people down to the element called headline. So if I come all the way down here,
But then they have to actually, does it go here to that custom HTML? Is that what it is?
yes,
What they're looking at is really that custom, that's
Yes.
probably the book now,
Yes.
right?
yep. So let me come down here so you can see it. So
Yeah.
see here, the beach
Yeah.
is calling. Yeah.
Yeah,
So just so you understand how that button works.
yeah, okay.
And the JavaScript, again, if we open that code editor, this is your booking widget.
Yeah, okay.
And again, you can always go to owner res and get your booking widget, but because I'm lazy and I like to just have everything organized, I would save all of your different assets. You could save it on the spreadsheet if you wanted, then you always have it. And then if you need to change something or whatever.
Okay,
Okay, does that make sense?
yeah.
Debbie, can we look at, I don't want to take the time though, but can we look at what her booking widget looks like on the live page?
Yes, yeah,
Like when I click, when you get there? Yeah.
yep. Yep, that's
Preview was, right? It looked
well,
like,
yes, but we're gonna do one more thing.
okay,
So we talked about the mobile optimization and then test different views and the load times. And then what we're going to do is we're going to grab the URL and add that to our pages sheet. So what do I mean by that? So again, I've saved it. I'm going to hit publish. And then I'm going to, up at the top left, I'm going to back all the way out. This is my final link, so to speak. So I would come over here to this tab, my funnel page URL, and I would paste it in just so that I have it. Okay.
okay.
So I'm going to call this Bluebird landing page. Okay. So then you have everything in one place. So in case somebody said, hey, can I see your landing page? You can just come here and grab it. So now I'm just going to copy that and let's look at the real McCoy. And we know it's the real McCoy because up here we see your domain name and the
We
name.
got another meeting. I got that other meeting.
Okay, you started and I'll join you in a minute,
Okay.
Kathy.
Melissa, good to see you.
See you.
Tons of information here.
Okay, so again, so now this is the final. So now you notice we did make a couple changes here, so that looks a little better. Okay. I added just a tiny bit of padding, but and this is kind of
That shouldn't be so many words. I know. Yeah.
yeah.
Like I'll have to figure out how to change all that, but yes, I know.
Yeah. Okay. And then come down here and then there's your booking widget.
Okay. Okay.
Good.
That sounds good.
So make a copy. I'll go through and get rid of what I had there and I'll stop sharing. Any questions? I know it was a lot, especially Stephanie, you're kind of just getting started, but it's baby steps, right?
This is
Yeah.
amazing because it's all the stuff I'll need to do on mine as well.
Yes. Yeah. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Good. Okay.
You
So
know, it's so
Melissa,
helpful to go through something that's
good.
real, not just being like hypothetical other times, actually go through somebody's stuff and say,
Yes.
oh yeah,
Yes.
that's great.
And again, the platform is so robust. There's no reason to learn everything down the road bit by bit. But just focus on getting comfortable modifying the landing page and go from there. So Melissa, I'll send you a link for the Facebook group, and then in the Facebook group, just reach out with questions, and either I do little videos or just explain it for you.
Okay, perfect. Thank
Okay.
you. I appreciate it. I really
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Good
Awesome.
deal.
Thank
Okay. Any other questions before we hop off?
I don't think so.
Okay. All right, ladies, have a good one.
And
Yeah.
you.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.